We're less than 50 days away from the 2024-25 NHL season, and the Calgary Flames are in an interesting position. After making quite a few moves since the end of last season, there are a few burning questions left to be answered before we head into next season. We're going to get into all of that, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And without further ado, let's hop straight in and talk a little bit of an off-season recap before we head into the true bread and butter of this one and answering maybe some of these burning questions that are coming. But we have a great article here today from the Daily Faceoff. It comes from Mike Gold, so all credit due to him for the content in this one. It is 2024-25 NHL team preview, the Calgary Flames. Now, we're not going to go over the whole preview for the season. That could take many videos. I just really wanted to focus on the good stuff that we can really talk about. I mean, the whole article is good. You should really go check it out if you are a big Flames fan. There's some great stuff in there, but we're just going to focus on a little bit. But before we can answer some of these burning questions going into next season, we got to just have a little bit of a recap. What the heck happened this off season? So let's start off with some additions and departures. Now, of course, we'll do the additions first. So through free agency, we picked up Anthony Mantha and Jake Bean. Of course, in the Jacob Markstrom trade, picked up Kevin Ball, signed Ryan Lomberg again, and Devin Cooley was also a free agency signing. So we had some players come in. You know, the reasons bringing them in are different from one another. I mean, Anthony Mantha was just the 1 year at a very tradable contract. He will certainly be on the way out. Jake Bean, maybe just to kind of fill in an NHL D-man spot. We'll have to see if he's actually in the plans for the future. Kevin Ball, a great addition in that Jacob Markstrom trade. Ryan Lomberg brings the grit, brings that veteran presence, brings that Stanley Cup ring with him. And then Devin Cooley, just a little bit more assurance between the pipes. So not the worst additions in the world. We weren't going to be splashing the caps. We still have a lot of cap space remaining, which is obviously very good. Now, if we go to the departures now, Jacob Markstrom, of course, went over to New Jersey in that big trade. We had Andrew Mangiapane as well being traded to the Washington Capitals for a second rounder. Not Washington's, it is Colorado's, but still a great trade by Conroy there. Oliver Shillington, through his saga, he ended up signing with Colorado eventually. AJ Greer, kind of under the radar, but he ended up signing with the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. Dennis Gilbert went away to Buffalo. Jordan Osterley went to Boston. I don't think too many people will be missing either of them in terms of on ice, off ice, great guys, but they just weren't in the plans. And then a Kochuk, weirdly, still technically is, I think, property of the Flames, but signed back in the KHL over in Russia. Weird scenario, but once again, I don't think anyone's really going to be missing a Kochuk all that much. The departures, as a whole, are probably, better than our additions, but that's all part of the plan. This is how it is supposed to go. I mean, anytime you're losing a really good goaltender, one that, used to be especially insane in Vezina contention year after year. But either way, those are the additions. Those are the departures. So what is our lineup looking like? Well, here's the projected lineup, at least from Daily Faceoff here. I know it's quite small and a little bit harder to see, but those forward lines as of right now are very interesting. Top line of Huberdeau, Bax, and Coleman. Very interesting that Huberdeau would be the replacement for Mangiapane on that line. We got Zary, Sharkey, and Mantha together. Lot of offensive prowess on that second line. You get Pospisil, Kadri, and Kuzmenko. A very interesting line there. I really like the looks of that. And then at the bottom there, you get Lomberg. Is that Rooney and Dewar, I think? I can't even read the names from here with the light in my eyes. I'm just going off the numbers. But either way, very interesting. Obviously, there are plenty of spots up for grabs. I didn't mention Coronado in there at all. There are a few names that could easily see some ice time as well. We'll just have to wait and see. I personally hope Klapka gets a lot of ice time. You look at the deep pairings, you got Weegs and Miramanov. You got Ball with Andersson. That's a very interesting one. Maybe Ball could actually be the key to unlocking Andersson even more offensively. And then the bottom there, you got Bean and Pahal. Again, so many defensemen in our system could rotate in there, whether it's our young prospects or some other guys as well. There is a lot of opportunity. And then the goalies, Wolf and Vladar as of right now, but we do have Cooley as well. So that's kind of what we're rolling with going into the season, but there are some burning questions. So why don't we get into that? And again, these are proposed by Mike Gold. I really, really like them, and we're going to try our best to answer them. So, burning questions. First one, will Zane Parekh get a trial run out of training camp? He is easily the star of our system right now. Down the pipeline, he is just A1. He brought our prospect rankings just on his own so much higher. You know, we didn't have the best prospect pool with him in there. Oh my goodness, we have become way more elite, and it's so exciting to have a guy like this. But let's read. Parex's upside is nearly unlimited. If you are a Russell Wilson fan, unlimited. He's one of the most dynamic prospects in hockey at any position and scores goals at a higher rate than pretty much any other defenseman outside the NHL. Yes, he went crazy. Wasn't it 33 goals in the O last season? But he's far from an imposing figure. His skating still needs a bit of work, and the Flames have lots of other quality defense prospects on their depth chart. The odds are against Parekh, but if anyone can force his way into an NHL tryout at age 18, it's probably the defenseman who scored 33 goals, there you go, and 96 points in his draft year in the OHL. We know just how good he is, and I don't know, we don't want to rush his development at all, but he certainly could get a trial run out of training camp for sure. He is that good, and look at some of the other defensemen in our system. They aren't exactly amazing. I mean, we just looked at the projected lineup. Parekh probably is already better than some of them, but has different elements to his game. You think of a Braden Pahal, great role player. I mean, he got the job done sort of when he came over last year. But either way, you know, he's probably better than Jake Bean. Not that we have to completely compare. That isn't quite fair of me, but either way, Parekh could easily get it done. And what would that mean for the Flames next season if he does come up to the NHL level? Well, it would accelerate his development. Do we want that? He could maybe make the team better. Do we want that right away? It's very, very interesting. And this burning question adds even more burning questions. But let me know down below what you think of Parekh and his chances of getting a trial run out of training camp this upcoming season. Let's get into the next question, which is, are any more veterans on the chopping block? And we go over this in a lot of videos, but let's dive in. Let's get the obvious one out of the way. Anthony Mantha is virtually guaranteed to be traded to a contender at some point this season after signing a one-year $3.5 million deal with the Flames on Canada Day. That's a contract that was signed to be moved. But who else could the Flames parlay into more futures before the end of the 2024-25 season? Mantha is most certainly gone unless something crazy happens. I mean, let's hope nothing does. Knock on wood, nothing crazy does happen and he does get traded. But who else is there? It wouldn't be too surprising to see Rasmus Andersson dealt for a haul, especially now that the Flames have Parekh and Bruce jostling for a spot on the right side. Kuzmenko, Coleman, and even Kadri would also make sense as sell-high candidates too, but only if the right offer comes along. So to answer this question, this burning question, are any more veterans on the chopping block? The answer is always going to be yes. Through this, I guess, transitional phase that the Flames are going through, yes, players are going to be on the chopping block. Whether it's just on the media's chopping block or actually in the system of GMs and their genuine trade block, there are going to be veterans on it. Guys in there, Andersson, Kuzmenko for sure. Coleman, Kadri, a little bit more interesting. I mean, we've heard trade rumors about pretty much everyone, including Huberdeau as well. But I think there probably will be maybe a bit of a surprising trade this upcoming season. Do I have any intel? No, of course not. I know just as much as you guys, but I have a sneaky suspicion that something could be coming. Now let's look at the final question here. So can the Flames effectively weaponize their cap space? So according to Puckpedia, man, gone are the days of cap friendly already. The Flames currently have the second most cap space in the entire league. After more than a decade of hardly utilizing the NHL's retained salary mechanism, the Flames have been far more aggressive in that arena since they started their teardown last summer. They also showed a willingness to take on unwanted contracts last year when they picked up Kuzmenko and his $5.5 million cap hit in the Elias Lindholm trade. Now, with the NHL's top contenders all battling for that extra edge, the Flames have a unique opportunity to trade for more bad deals and assist with salary retention for a price. Yes, it's going to cost some teams, maybe some higher picks kind of thing. But I would love to see the Flames do this. I know there's the side of if you take on a contract for too long, it can't be too long of a term. We don't want to be paying for that long. We do have young guys we eventually do have to pay. But, anywhere in the 2 to 4 year range, I mean, why not? As long as you're not taking on too much, I'd say go for it. If it's even shorter term, of course go for it. We can definitely afford it going into this season, into the season after that. I would absolutely implore Conroy to do something like this. I'm sure he is trying, but I would love to see it. So can the Flames effectively weaponize their cap space? Yes, they absolutely can. Check out the rest of this article. There's a whole prediction going into next season. It's really, really good. Can't recommend it enough. Make sure you take a look. But let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do. And we have one here from Mitchell. And Mitchell said, Flames only play the Oilers 3 times, and the first one is pretty much meaningless. Who makes these schedules? Yes, in yesterday's video, we talked about the schedule a little bit, some exciting games that can pump up Flames fans next season. And there are only 3 games against the Oilers, one of them being pretty much right away on October 13th. So, Mitchell continued, said, you should see your arch rivals in your home barn more than once a season. Doesn't the league understand that bitter rivalries are good for business in many different ways? One of which being a great way to lure in new fans, like the famous NFL players who go on to tweet about how awesome hockey is after watching amazing playoff-style hockey. It's time for Batman. I'd assume you mean Bettman. I really hope Gary Bettman isn't the real Batman. But it's time for Bettman to retire. And I completely agree with you there. Gone are the days of huge rivalry games. It seems like you just play against your conference a little bit more these days. It's interesting. I completely agree here. Why do the Flames not play the Oilers enough? I mean, this upcoming season, you can kind of expect maybe the Oilers to win those games a little more, but still, it's so good for the sport. I agree with you on this one. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.